Week 9, everyone. Welcome back. This is your Sharp Squares podcast with the ambassador David Eby and Greg Roth. This is yours truly, Eric Glazer. We are delaying our trick-or-treating. No, we don't have kids in the house anymore, but we still go out with red wagons and candy and alcohol. But we're here with you, getting ready to provide you with all the information you need. Because last week, our Sharps in aggregate were 51.2%. Metal games were 3-3. Pick 5, 3-2. Fifth week in a row, we are over 500. 3-6, 3 for 6 and 3-1, which is the pool we care most about right now. And, we're grinding away, turning the tide after a season and a quarter of bad things. We are beginning to see some good things happen since the change of the algorithm, by the way. I don't want to jinx us. Here we go. We've got lots to discuss here on Halloween Eve. And to give you all of that gold, silver, and bronze candy, everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, kids dressing up as him all over the country, it is the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much. Happy Halloween to you and also the ambassador. 5 straight winning weeks. Wow. We should do a study on the last time we had a 5-week winning streak, or what is our longest winning streak? I'd like to see that date. I'm sure the audience would as well.
They don't care.
More work for you this weekend, Eric. This week, the candy that you mentioned, 4 metal games. One of them is gold, one of them is silver, and 2 of them are bronze. The gold game, the top-rated game. Using our 3-2-1 lines, that was one change that we made. Thank you, Eric. The pick is the Houston Texans. They're -1.5. They're at home welcoming the Denver Broncos. Fabian Summer, Rob Pizzola, Kelly Stewart, Stuckey, Adam Chertoff, and Cleve TA all picked Houston. There was dissent from Gil Alexander on the Broncos. There's a silver game. This team we've had quite a bit of late, including last week. The pick. It's the Atlanta Falcons. They're +5.5. They're in New England to take on the Patriots. Stuckey, Todd Wishdev, Gil Alexander, Cleve TA all picked Atlanta. Rob Pizzola did take the New England Patriots, so I think are currently the number 2 seed in the AFC if the playoffs started now, which of course they don't. There are 2 bronze games. The top-rated bronze game, sort of. We'll get to that in a second. The pick is the Washington Commanders. They're +3.5, taking on the Seattle Seahawks in Washington. Marty Herney, Chris Raybon both picked the Commanders. The whale capper in dissent took Seattle.
That's sort of. They are our 3rd highest game.
In using the 3-2-1 lines. I was just, I was teasing where we're going here. And now everyone has no idea where we're going. So they're going to just stick around. And there's still another medal game. That pick, a bronze game, is the San Francisco 49ers. They're -2.5 traveling across the country to take on the Giants in New York. New Jersey. Ross Tucker, Marco D'Angelo picked San Francisco. Nobody picked the Giants. So the medal game summary, you have the Texans at -1.5 is gold. The Falcons at +5.5 are silver. The Commanders at +3.5 and the 49ers at -2.5 are bronze. So 3-2-1, these are our 3-2-1 lines. Very simple. Texans 3, Falcons 2, Commanders 1. Pick 5. Lines are different. I don't want to get too bogged down in all the difference in the lines, but you still have the Texans, you still have the Falcons, you still have the 49ers, and you don't have any other medal games in pick 5 with the different lines. So what are the next 2 highest rated games in pick 5? What's at stake given our 5-week winning streak in pick 5? Well, the 4th rated, highest rated game in pick 5 depicts the Los Angeles Chargers. They're -9.5 in Tennessee. Yes, that's right. -9.5 in Tennessee to take on the Titans. Our line in 3-2-1's -10.5. That's why it wasn't a 3-2-1 pick. Rob Pizzola, Covers Podcast, Sharper's Square Podcast, Jeff Schwartz, and Mike Renner all picked the Chargers. Nobody picked Tennessee. What was our 5th highest rated game in pick 5? Well, that pick is the Seattle Seahawks. I don't have to tell you who they're playing because I just told you they're playing the Commanders in Washington. They're -2.5 in pick 5. They're a pick there. The Commanders are our 3rd highest rated game in 3-2-1 at +3.5. So I guess we're looking for a field goal game.
It's a tricky situation.
Let me, is that right? If with Seahawks, we want the Seahawks to win by 3, and we win both sides of that. Very exciting. Very exciting. So let me recap that. Pick 5, Texans, Falcons, 49ers, Chargers, and the Seahawks. Was that explained right? Is anybody understanding where that is?
They should. Our listeners know what it means when the line goes from 3.5 to 2.5, and the games. It is what it is. It wasn't a medal game, but that's what we're doing. We don't bet on teams. We bet on numbers.
And to clarify, the Chargers and the Seahawks, those were not medal games. They're not pick 5 medal games, even using those lines. There were only 3 medal games to pick 5 as well, which were the Texans, Falcons, and 49ers.
All right, real quick, EB, you have 10 seconds to answer this. Mount Rushmore for candy. Go.
Oh, let's see. We've got Reese's. We've got Snickers.
Reese's what?
Reese's original peanut butter cups.
Okay.
We've got Snickers. We've got Milky Way. And then, geez, I don't know.
I got to throw in a Butterfingers and a Baby Ruth.
But there's 4 on. So your Mount Rushmore has but Baby Ruth on? Your Mount.
I can only pick 4?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. Go.
Does that? I can go peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, do whatever you want. You just could only pick 4.
I have to go Butterfinger.
Okay.
I'll go Kit Kat Bar, and I'll go Reese's Peanut Butter Cup as well.
Okay. Good work. Just so you know, I'm not going to give you my Mount Rushmore, but I will tell you whatchamacallit is on there. If that's all you're looking for, you are now all dismissed. We've got 3 medal games we're highlighting for you and a bunch of trends that the teams aggregated. So here we go. Take it away, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Eric. And spoiler alert, if you're planning on betting on the Packers this weekend, you might want to listen to these first 3 trends very carefully. The first trend is the post-Bills opponent bump. Teams the week after facing Buffalo are 15-8 ATS over the last 2 seasons, 11-4 the last 15. And that applies to the Panthers this weekend. Carolina faced Buffalo last week. So this trend leans Panthers plus 13.5 at Green Bay. That trend courtesy of Action Network. All of these trends courtesy Action Network. The second trend, Packers as large favorites. Since the beginning of 2025, the Packers are 0-4 ATS when favored by 7 or more. 1-3 with Jordan Love. Again, that applies to the Packers and Panthers this weekend. Leans towards the Panthers. And the third of 3 Packer-Panther trends, the big dog bounce after blowouts. Underdogs of 4 or more coming off a 28-point loss are 120 and 78 and 3 ATS. That's 61%. And that applies to the Panthers, plus 13.5. So tread lightly at the betting window if you're going up there to put some money on the Packers. And a non-Panthers Packer trend, Jim Harbaugh is a road favorite to the East Coast. Harbaugh coach teams are 10-2 ATS as a road favorite on the East Coast. Overall, 24-8-1 ATS in Central Standard Time and Eastern Standard Time. And that, of course, applies to the Chargers and Titans. And, of course, is a reminder to fall back into the standard time Saturday at 3 a.m.
Wow. That's the extra service we provide you here. All right. Another trend for you guys. After losing as a big favorite, we got some buyback. This makes a lot of sense as far as our psychology. When teams that lost as more than a 7-point, as a 7-point or more favorite, they actually cover 58% of the next game as everyone jumps off it and the line goes to their advantage. And this trend since 2015, covering 58% of the time. And when the team flips to an underdog that next game, they're 55% against the number. Thank you, Action Network. That's actionable. Falcons at the Patriots, with Atlanta being the pick there. Josh Allen versus top defenses. This is interesting. Allen versus defenses allowing less than 20 points per game. He is 23-5 straight up. Get this, guys. 22-5-1 ATS, including 15-1 straight up and ATS when the spread is less than 4 or 4 or less. So a virtual lock this week as they play the Kansas City Chiefs, who are allowing like 16.5 points per game. So put the entire mortgage on the Bills.
First handicapping highlight, our gold game. The Texans are the pick, -1.5, hosting the Denver Broncos. First handicap theme, defensive edge and home fortress. Houston ranks top 5 in yards per play allowed and gives up under 12 points per game at home, the NFL's stingiest home defense. DeMeco Ryans' scheme thrives against inexperienced quarterbacks. Bo Nix's rhythm passing is exactly what Houston disguised pressures erase. Fabian Summer emphasized that the Texas pass defense metrics, are number one adjusted EPA, a stark contrast to Denver's inconsistent offense. Kelly Stewart calls Denver's defense overvalued by recency bias, noting its road splits collapse away from altitude. That's an interesting point. Quarterback and coaching advantage is the second theme of this handicap. CJ Stroud is better than Bo Nix. In this concept, Stroud's ball placement and short to intermediate accuracy counter Denver's pressure. Nix has struggled versus top 10 defenses. Against the Rams, he only scored 9 points, and the Seahawks, Denver only tallied 13. Ryans and offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick's tailor protections with 6 offensive line sets, cutting pressure rates in half over the last month. Stuckey adds that low total environments, the better QB plus defense combo at home wins 64% historically. Houston fits that mold. Third theme of this handicap, matchup mechanics and line of scrimmage control. Texas offensive line, reinforced by the extra tackle package, neutralizes Denver's league-leading pressure rate. Nico Collins and Christian Kirk returning, widen Howden, and thank you, Nico, for returning for my fantasy team, widen Houston's route tree and punish Denver's depleted corners. From Rob Bizzola, Denver's 44-point explosion versus Dallas isn't repeatable against a real defense. Texans will dictate terms up front. Osborne's metrics show Houston's top 3 in sack rate per dropback and third down stops, precisely where Denver falters offensively. From Kelly Stewart, Texans thrive in tight line games, 4-1 against the spread, between -3 and +3. Denver's scoring evaporates outside altitude. That's from Kelly Stewart. Last theme of this handicap, market and motivational context. Public gravitated towards Denver after 5 straight against the spread covers. Pros view that as an overcorrection. Line open Denver -1, flip to Houston -1.5 on sharp money. Motivation, Houston at home in a playoff contender spot off a misleading loss. Denver in a potential letdown after a national TV win. Eric, you're right. I did like that handicap. Very thorough. One of our best of the season, I would say. And I'm glad it's the gold game. We'll see how happy I am on Sunday. Timestamps. Action Network, 31 minutes, 41 seconds. Bet on it, 30 minutes, 42 seconds. Forward Progress, 21 minutes, 20 seconds. Covers, 6 minutes, 31 seconds. Dream Preview, roughly at the 30-minute mark.
Our silver game is the Falcons +5.5 at the Patriots. The first theme for these handicapping highlights, regression and buy low setup. This is a classic buy low, sell high NFL spot where Atlanta's coming off an ugly high-profile loss, while New England rides a multi-week cover streak. Stuckey even provided us with a trend for this game. He said historically bad home favorite flop teams, meaning they lost by 14 or more as a touchdown favorite, are 33, 16, and 1 ATS the next week. So that would be the Falcons in this case. The Patriots' recent wins have been inflated by weak opponents, e.g., Miami, Carolina, Tennessee, and Cleveland. Gil Alexander says this is the step up in competition spot after a soft schedule. So that'll be tough for the Patriots. And Chad Millman chimes in to say that the Falcons plus 5.5 are the sharp side if Penix and London play. Speaking of which, that leads us to our next theme, health and personnel reinforcements. Quarterback Michael Penix Jr. and wide receiver Drake London are both trending towards active status. Atlanta's pass offense jumps dramatically when both start, and Atlanta's key defensive starters are set to return, so the pressure rate is expected to normalize, improving the secondary's integrity versus deep throws. On the other side of the ball, or on the other side of the field, I guess, New England's defense ranked bottom 5 in linebacker and safety coverage success rate, which will open windows for Pitts and Bijan Robinson underneath. And then finally, the Patriots' improved metrics have come mostly against non-top 15 offenses, so regression is incoming versus this balanced Atlanta attack. And the third theme, motivation and situational spot, Todd Wishnev says that this is a classic bounce-back spot. The Patriots' run of dominance isn't sustainable. Finally, market and sharp support theme says that the line opened with New England at 3.5 and it steamed to -6, and there was some sharp buyback at plus 5.5, presumably at 6 as well. And that's where we're at now. Multiple syndicates grabbed Atlanta at +6 early in the week. The consensus is they are a value dog. As we mentioned earlier, the Patriots' metrics versus backup quarterbacks overstate their efficiency. Backup quarterbacks, in this case, Mariota and Browning. And the Falcons' run game with Bijan Robinson rated top 8 by success rate. Big edge to the Falcons versus the Patriots' front 7, which is ranked 27th by EPA versus gap runs. And finally, both Beating the Book and Action Network labeled Atlanta as a 6-pack or a best bet, confirming the Sharps' alignment on this pick. Timestamps, Action Network, 22 minutes, 59 seconds. Beating the Book, 42 minutes and 10 seconds. Sharp or Square, 7 minutes exactly. And the Dream Preview, 16 minutes and 47 seconds.
Great job, guys. By the way, in addition to what you call it, Crackle is another one that would make my Mount Rushmore, along with Kit Kat. I go back and forth between M&M's and Twix for the last spot, but I'm in the mood for Twix. That would be my 4th on Mount Rushmore. Great job to all of our producers, as usual. Happy Halloween, everyone. And a reminder, whether we're in costume or not, we are definitely not sharp. But this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.